Welcome to Team 3242's PodCats podcast, where we talk about the latest and what's been going on in our robotics team. I'm Riley. We have Richard, Carson, and Christian. So guys, week 3 is basically over. Man, we're about halfway through. How's it been going?
Pretty well overall.
I mean, for programming, I think we've made a lot of progress on the different aspects of what we're supposed to be doing in the current season.
Any updates with all the PixieCam stuff and everything?
Well, with the PixieCam, we've just been working on finding the right wiring connection. So we've been looking at different sources, and we've been testing different methods of ways to wire the Pixie to the RoboRio. So one of those methods would be to wire it straight from the Pixie to the RoboRio, but I think we're leaning more towards the wiring it through an Arduino, so we can program it to work just easier, and it's better for us as a programming.
Cool. Any other programming stuff going on? Any autonomous or anything?
I mean, we've been working on autonomous since the beginning of the season, and with that, we've just basically been making switch statements to have different cases of what we want to do. The different cases are basically, so it would go through each case kind of as a switch statement. So we would go from case 0 to case 1 and then case 2, and we would just have the steps of the autonomous. And we kind of have that as a backup plan in case the vision doesn't turn out how we want it to in the sandstorm stage of the competition.
Is that like ready to be testing? Like I heard like they were starting to get like a basic outline ready that could...
Yeah, we've basically been pretty close to getting the Pixie actually communicating with the RoboRio. So it shouldn't be too far away until we get to actually testing the vision and making sure that the vision actually centers correctly on the object that we want to pick up.
Cool. Carson, how's all that electrical stuff going?
Well, so far we've done our schematics, and we've been waiting for build to get done with the bot so that we can wire everything. And so we've done our 3D and our 2D schematic, and like a schematic is like a basic layout of all of your parts and like where the wires would go, and you use that as like a guide for when you are wiring. We've been helping programmers with their testing for the Lift and Pixie.
Nice. Anything else you guys been working on in the meantime?
Oh, since the pneumatics people, they're new and they don't really know what a schematic is, we've been helping them out and teaching them how to do a schematic. So, but other than that, we've been doing nothing.
Nice. Christian, how's all the build stuff going?
I mean, build doing pretty good. We've been working on the obstacles a lot, and we've had a little bit of a standstill because we've had a hard time getting all the pieces of metal we need, and our CNC machine is broken, so we have to do a lot of things by hand instead of, when we have the computer. But now we just got our metal in yesterday, so we've been hard at work on the chassis and the hubcaps and everything that we needed to really do in order for electrical to get along with their work.
Nice. Yeah, finally be able to put all that electrical stuff in there, all the pneumatics, and then you guys can finally eventually start testing.
Yeah,
all your
we
stuff.
like that. We like when we have time to test.
Programmer's greatest issue, when you don't have anything to test on.
Yeah, it's pretty sad for us because we don't get to actually apply the programs and see if we're doing something wrong or if we're just missing out on something simple that we may have missed when we're writing it down or when we're just altering it.
Yeah. But hey, that's pretty good that all the stuff's finally coming in. I think a lot of our design stuff is finally being flushed out too. I think.
Yeah, especially with the fact that we've had our design so early. A lot of them had a lot of things in it didn't really work, so we had to change it up a lot. But now it really seems that it's a really good design that's going to bring us home again.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, they've been having a lot of issues with the whole level 3 habitat climbing. That's always been an issue, and I think we did have a few problems with that. But I think we're starting to really flesh out a lot of the issues. That's pretty good too. So, any other programming stuff going along with like lift or anything?
I mean, with lift, we've been trying to implement different methods of how to make the lift lock so it's not pulling back down and the height would be messed up because of that. So the current methods we've been testing out are the PID. So that would basically try to make the lift take in whatever values it's moving down, or the velocity of the turning as the gear as it's falling, and then we would basically set it to the opposite of that, and we would like record the value that is turned in order to basically apply the opposite force and make sure that the lift doesn't fall down. The other method that we tried was we were trying to make the motors basically take in the value that it went down and then set it as a reference. So basically it would take in the value that it was, and then it would just like go to the negative value by itself without the implementation of PID. PID is a more controlled way of doing it, so we would be able to basically make it a lot less, have a lot less problems with it oscillating and different things like that.
So going in with all that lift stuff and everything, you know, what like the whole build and the build side of all that, like how's that been going with the whole habitat?
One of the main challenges this year with the obstacles is that platform that we need to go on is 19 inches tall. And there's no ramps or anything, so we have to figure out a way to lift up our 120-pound robot to that height and then successfully get on there in a record amount of time. So what Nick has proposed is that we use pneumatic pistons in order to lift up the robot, and we have a special system with the way that the wheels work, that once one set of wheels go up and it goes on there, then we move it forward and then lift up the other set of wheels. And that's a real challenge because you have to deal with a lot of balance issues with there. So we've been really testing things, making sure that pneumatic pistons can lift up that amount of weight, which I think we tested it and it successfully can.
Yes, yeah, I was actually there when we were testing that, and actually, yeah, it seemed to work fairly well, especially with the amount of pneumatics that we're looking at. It looks like we'll be able to lift it fine, but I think our main issue has been balance itself, of making sure that once it goes up, it doesn't accidentally fall over in one of the sides. So yeah, that's been going pretty well. And then, I mean, that leads a lot into the schematic that you've been going with. Do you think we'll have enough room for everything that we've been going?
Yeah, we should, yeah.
Yeah, because I know we've been looking at like how many storage tanks
Yeah.
and whatnot, but
Like 6 or 8 or something like that.
yeah, we were looking at like maybe 1 or 2 per each, you know, depending on whichever spot that it is in and everything. So, but that's been going well. It fits well with all the electrical stuff too.
Yeah.
That's all pretty good. And then I know last week we ended up actually talking about the intake stuff from the build point of view, and has that still been going through? It's still
The intake's pretty good. I mean, with the intake, that a lot leads in with the balance as well. It's really front heavy, so we have to figure out how to make sure that that's not too heavy there. And it's pretty much the same design as we had last year, but a little bit different, obviously, because there are different things it has to hold this year.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there are quite a new bit of varieties of stuff, and it's all in the front of the robot. So that probably might end up being an issue if we don't account for that. Yeah, overall, good that we finally got our metal, so we can start building and start getting all of your guys' stuff in there and tested. So yeah, exciting stuff. Anything else?
No.
I think we covered everything.
Well, thank you guys for watching. That's been week 3 of Team 3242's PodCats PodCats. Be sure to check out our week 3 video as well. You'll see a couple different interviews, some footage of what's been going on. But see you guys next week.